Hello and welcome to Interactive Distractions, episode number 506. My name is Chris Fricchio, and I am here with Jason A. Stricker.
Yo, hello.
And Geoff Chorney.
What up, everyone?
And today we're going to do this crazy thing that is called talking about games. We don't do it very often, but it is fun when we do it, at least for us. And we hope that you have fun listening to it. So,
that's why I like you guys. Sometimes, every once in a while, we'll talk about games.
Yeah, just once in a while. It's not often. Jeez, just
a bit of fun here and there.
Yeah, it's like we haven't done this a whole lot, so
Then we talk about medical conditions for half an hour before we record, and that's
oh, my stinking neck is god. Yeah, I know, man. Me too.
Well, how's it going this week, guys? Anything new, Jason?
I'm getting into IEMs, in-ear monitors.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah, big time actually. Like, so I. Budget ones, to be sure.
Okay.
Like less than $20 for the most part. So they're kind of cheap to pick up and stuff. But I've been getting them from like AliExpress and whatnot.
What a
Amazon.
surprise.
Yeah.
You mean the tariffs haven't fucked that place up yet?
Well, this has been a few months long journey. So I bought some because they changed my life. They sounded so good. These fucking $8 IEMs, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is it? I've been missing out. So I bought like 3 or 4 of them for some friends for Christmas, and they're like, holy shit, this is crazy. So I've been getting further and further into it. The most recent pair that I got is of these IEMs is these Moondrop Chew 2s, which is probably the best sounding pair that I've had so far. And those were only like $20 or something like that.
So what are you using them for primarily?
Just music for like I'm at my computer. These are wired, so I'll use them for gaming and shit. Because I've got the big boy mic here for Discord. And makes shit sound great.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my newest obsession.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna have 35 of them by next week.
That's right.
Seriously, yeah.
And each one will be used specifically for something different.
Yes. Very, very weird test cases.
These are the ones that I use on the off chance that I hook up my original Genesis and I can plug it into the 3.5 millimeter port.
This is my
really shines.
This is my 3DO controller one.
It matches. That's awesome.
It matches the 3DO controller so good. Like I gotta keep it.
That's awesome. All right.
Jeff, how you doing, bud?
Doing okay. We went and took the niece and nephew to a cat cafe today.
Did you adopt a cat? Say no.
Well, we went there partially to kind of see what their process was and everything, because
check them out. Yeah,
we're getting ready, I think, to adopt another little guy. Nice. So we took the niece and nephew, and then it's typical, like they have like coffee and like some food there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you go in,
like pastries and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That kind of type of stuff. It's all the cuties and the floofs.
The floofs.
A few of them stuck out to me that I was like, oh, these guys are adorable. And then one of them did get adopted when we were there, so that was kind of cool. So it's good to see that happen. I got scratched by one. There's this one room. It's like the quiet room that like no kids are allowed in there, and only like 2 people at a time. And they say they're kind of like skittish. And I was like, okay, so I go in there and I'm like, hey, look at you, you're so cute. I didn't do that, but I was like, one of them was kind of like warming up to me, and it was like laying in its little bed thing, a tower thing. And then it started letting me pet it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then he started pushing his head against my palm. Like I'm like, okay, he likes this. And then he started putting his head in my hand. And I was like, okay, he really likes me. This is cute. And then I just started petting with my other hand. Everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the motherfucker had like an episode or something. I don't know what happened. Like if something spooked him. And then he whacked my hand.
Yeah.
And then I pulled it back. And then as I was pulling my hand back, he whacked it again. And like, I can't really show it on the... Actually, it might show up. But... Or maybe not.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't show.
The light's too bright. Oh, yeah. I see a little bit, yeah.
A little bit. So I basically got like 4... It looks like fang marks, actually, on each side of my thumb. It didn't hurt or anything, but it was just kind of... I kind of just had to laugh. I'm like, well, I deserved it. I mean, do tell you to be careful. I was careful, but
yeah,
we didn't adopt that one. So there was a couple cuties there, though. But we were. It was a good time. Then we went back to the in-laws and just had some Greek for dinner. And I stole my 360 back because my nephew told me it hasn't been hooked up for like almost a year or something. So I was like, well, then I'm taking this thing back home because there are some games I stashed there that I like Espgaluta 2
Yeah.
I took back. And then Wolverine Origins. Well, Wolverine, I forgot I even bought that a couple years ago. I must have been around, I don't know, I want to say maybe Deadpool. No, Deadpool Wolverine was just last year, so it couldn't have been last year. But it's still in the package, like it's still in the wrapper, so I haven't even opened that yet.
wow.
It is a used copy, but it was wrapped up. It's in good condition. And then King of Fighters 14. I was like, I'm gonna take these back.
Nice.
Give these a run. So that was kind of cool. So I'm gonna play some Wolverine soon for sure. That's about it. Other than that, we're just kind of relaxing tomorrow and taking it easy.
Nice.
Yeah, Chris.
Let's see. Last week on Sunday, me and some friends went out to a comedy club that's here in Alpharetta and saw Steve Hofstetter. If you're not familiar with him, you can just look up online like Steve Hofstetter and then like hecklers, and he usually just wrecks hecklers. That's what he does. There were no hecklers in our show, but it was a good show. It was a lot of fun. Actually, he was strangely non-political. Like a lot of times he's very political with some of his comedy, and he might have had like one or two jabs here and there, but most of it was not political. And then he did the questionnaire at the end that he always does, where he brings the opening acts up on the stage, and they basically just answer questions for you. There were only like 2 or 3 questions in from the audience, but I sent one in on they gave you a text line, and I sent one in. And that was the first one they answered from the text line. So I thought that was cool.
What was the question? I'm just curious.
The question was, has one of your shows ever changed the mind of someone on the right? And he actually went in and said, yeah, actually I had, a couple times I've had people come to me after the show and say that they looked up the things that I said while the show was going on and realized that they were wrong about a few things. And I was like, oh, it's good to know
awesome.
that there's
rare, dude.
Yeah, it's very rare, it's like, but it was a fun time. The place was a nice place, but very, very cramped. And it was one of those things where it's a 2-item minimum. So you have to go in and you have to buy a couple things. But I had a couple beers and we were done, and that was pretty cool. But that was fun. And then 2 of the guys that that came with me are some of the guys I played D&D with, and actually today was the day for that game. We didn't play, but we played. What we did is we got together and we played board games, and we played a game called Our Last Day on Earth or something like that. I can't
it's
remember.
Coming up shortly, maybe.
It's good practice.
That's actually nonfiction, Chris.
It's a historically accurate, but it's a zombie game, and it's like, what's cool about it is that it's very fast paced. It goes by pretty quickly. I think we started playing around 1:00, and we learned it, and we were done with our game by like 2:15. So it went pretty quick, very fast paced. And the way it works is that with 3 people, which is what we had at the time, one person runs the zombies, and then the other 2 players each get 2 heroes to run. And like the map is modular, so like there's additional pieces of the board. So the board has like a lot of different varieties, and there's different like township areas on one. So like you'll have like a cornfield, and you'll have a school and a church and all this other stuff. And then there's different scenarios where it's like the scenario we did was the easiest one. It's just like kill 15 zombies. It's like, all right, cool, we'll just go and mow them down, and that's what ended up happening. But there's one that says like find the survivors and bring them back to a truck that's in the center of town or something like that. And or like he said there's a scenario where you have to actually go around and burn all the buildings down because there's a ton of zombies trapped inside. And so It was really fun. It was a really, really cool game. But yeah, that was what we did today. And then I think that's about it. And then just work bullshit. So that is.
I do.
But let's talk some games.
Yeah.
Geoff, I think you got something new this week, right?
I do. I played that
something that I just got and I haven't started yet. So I'm interested to hear what you say.
It's I got that new Hazelight joint, Split Fiction.
Ooh,
so yes.
By
Hazelight. Did you say Hazelight?
Hazelight, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Like Haze the game? Like
oh god, I hope not. No,
we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that.
No.
Yeah, Hazelight is the developer.
Oh,
yes. It's not going to show up, but it's right there at the bottom. You can see it. It's Hazelight.
Yes, it's a developer.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Don't get too excited. We're not going back to Haze. Different kind of co-op. So yeah, it's their newest game. Just dropped last weekend, and it's a co-op only, as all of their games are, except for the first one, where one person controls Mia and the other one is Zoe, and the whole premise is you are two young, like aspiring writers, and you got invited to this place called The Company. And they lure in.
Not ominous or anything.
No, not at all. And you go in there. Oh, it gets better. And you go in there, and there's some other people there as well, other writers, and they're all there because you apparently got told that they're going to sign you to a publishing deal. So Mia and Zoe, they're two total like opposites. One's kind of like an edgy kind of like city girl, like kind of like with a bit of an attitude, and the other one's kind of like a girl next door, like farmer's daughter type deal, just kind of like, I don't know, kind of like down to earth, innocent, whatever. And one of them writes fiction, one of them writes science fiction, the other one writes fantasy, and they
hardcore smut.
Yes.
Sci-fi and fantasy smut. Yes.
And they both don't like each other's genres. They take quips at each other and whatever. So they get there, and when they're there, it turns out that the company is going to put you into the machine. And what the machine is supposed to do is it basically helps you kind of like flesh out your ideas and come one with your ideas. You kind of make them better. But what it's actually doing is stealing all the creators' ideas for themselves, so they don't have to sign these people, give them any money, basically. So you find that out pretty early.
That's not illegal.
No, not at all. So what happens is Zoe decides she doesn't want to do it. While she's trying to leave, they kind of push her into the same mind bubble thing that Mia's in, which causes a rift, and they go into their stories at the same time. And you're basically in their stories, in their books, in their creation. So that's how the game kicks off, basically. Yeah, it's very, very cool. And then it does a couple intro levels of like a sci-fi segment and like a fantasy and then sci-fi. And then I played with Fraser from GSC F-Bomb, and we played till the end of like, it was a couple hours through. So like the end of like the first big sci-fi segment, which is like you're both cyber ninjas.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And it's hard to like, I don't want to get too much into it because a lot of this game is not spoiler based by story, but spoiler based by what you're doing.
Yeah. The stages are very surprised. That's part of the surprise, right? So
exactly. Like it's,
like the mechanics of each stage you're talking about?
The mechanics, and even like there's some really good not Easter eggs, but like they definitely get some influence from past video games, and there's like 3 very obvious ones at the very beginning that I really don't want to spoil either, just because I didn't realize specifically they were like nods to these franchises. But when you play them, like, holy crap, they're totally like mocking this. Not mocking because they're not making fun of it, but they're paying homage to.
There you go.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like how many there were in like the first 2 hours was pretty awesome. And there's also side stories now too. I don't know if you guys played It Takes Two.
I have not.
Oh man, It Takes Two so good. But
if you remember, I did call out on the show that I needed someone to play It Takes Two with. So
dude, I'll play it with you, man.
Yeah,
I can't because I have it on Xbox. You probably have it on PS5, right?
I don't have it on anything yet.
Oh, okay,
but
gotcha.
I don't have My Xbox One doesn't work.
It's on Game Pass though, so see if it's on PC.
Okay.
If it's on PC Game Pass, we will be good. With Split Fiction though, it's actually cross play, so that wouldn't have mattered.
Which is cool.
And it's got the friend pass too, where you can play with someone who doesn't own the game. Which is it's very cool.
Do you guys know how that works? Like, does it work just for one person?
What do you mean?
Like, can you?
No. Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought it was going to, like, everybody gets like one friend pass they can give out. No, just go to the store on whatever platform you're playing on, and there's a actual separate download called Split Fiction Friend Pass, and that essentially downloads the game and everything. You just can't launch it yourself or start a game yourself, but you can still play with anybody who has the game.
Oh, so wow, that's cool.
It's not just one person,
Nice.
So you can play with multiple people if they, The thing is, not even a catch, because it's not. Well, it is a catch. You don't unlock trophies or achievements if you're the person on the friend pass. So that's kind of like hey, if you want these achievement trophies, you got to buy the game, which I think is totally fair. Like you can either play the entire game free and not care about that kind of stuff, or because F-Bomb didn't buy it, he was using the friend pass, but then he went and bought it this morning. Because he was like, I want the achievements for this. So yeah, it also has side missions now that you can find throughout the levels, and they're pretty funny. The first one, I'll say this because it is in the trailers, but you're two pigs, and you morph into these pigs. One pig can spring up like a slinky and then like get to high areas. The other one can fly, like jump and like glide, but it does it by farts. And it farts rainbows and just flies. Exactly. And we were just giggling the entire time. It was just too funny. I'm like,
that's nice. That's cool.
This is funny. But it does such a good job. Like, they do such a good job with how much it changes the mechanics and what you're doing from scene to scene. Like, you're never doing anything too long so far, and they do such a good job of that. Like, once you kind of start to get the hang of something, it lets you do it for a little bit longer. Then it's like, okay, now we're racing on bikes. It's like now we're fighting on bikes, and the bosses have been all pretty creative, like how you take them down, how you have to be cooperative and do things like not in tandem, but you do really have to use cooperation or at least communicate. I do still think though it's not. I don't think it's beginner friendly for games, so to speak. It's still kind of
was It Takes Two a little more beginner friendly?
A little bit. Like, It Takes Two did have moments that were kind of, if you're not really like game literate, it would still be kind of hard to understand some stuff or to navigate. Because there are some fast moving parts that you really need to know how to use like 2 analog sticks for. So if you definitely try to play with someone who can do that, or just have a lot of patience to be able to be like, this is what you got to do. Because when you're playing with somebody, like if we were to play it, there's so many times that as a gamer, you just know what you need to do. You just go into a room and you just know one player's got to do this, the other's got to do this. And you just kind of, almost don't even have to talk. But I know I could tell like Tanya wants to try it. So I think we're going to try it out tomorrow together. But I think it'll be one of those things where I will have to kind of like be really patient and be like, okay, so it's telling you to kind of do this and do this here. And I feel like Split Fiction is definitely worse than It Takes Two in that aspect. I think it is a little bit more complicated for like new gamers or people who don't game too much. It's still it's still simple. Like it's not like it's not Lego, like a Lego game simple, but it keeps it down to a couple buttons and the sticks. But you do have to move the sticks quite often to look around and keep things in view and stuff like that. But it's definitely not. It's not Dark Souls or anything, but it's also not a Lego game. But I'm loving it. I like, if this whole game keeps up, like we're 2 hours in. I think the game's supposed to be about 15 to 16 hours, like to do everything, all the missions. I think this is an early contender for Game of the Year. It is super fun. It is. Some people have shat on like the writing. It's like too quippy or too whatever, but it fits the game. I like it. It's lighthearted. It's a great palate cleanser, especially for some of the stuff I've been playing lately. It's like, it's just a good time. It's fun. It's colorful. It looks amazing. The sound's amazing. Controls really well. And they change up genres so often. you're side scrolling 1 second, then you're third person like shooting or like character action. Well, I wouldn't say character action. It's basic fighting, but you get the gist of it. Solving minor puzzles.
Yeah. Crystal's playing it right now. Like her and I were going to play it together. That was the plan. And when I'm not going to vent about Best Buy right now, but for the third time, I've set a game for in-store pickup and they fucked it up. For the third time in the last 6 months, they fucked it up. But I basically switched it to shipping and it just arrived today. So she got it on Steam instead the day it came out, and she's been playing with her friend. And she's like, and her and I are planning on playing it together, but she's like, I'm so glad that I decided to play it with her beforehand, because you would be so frustrated with me because I take so long to do anything. So I'm like, all right, cool. So, so yeah, once she gets through it, we'll probably start it up. But I plan to try and play it with someone else at one point or another. So I just gotta find a person to play it with.
Yeah, I definitely want to play through it at least twice, because I definitely want to do the other character.
Yeah, like you want to play both characters, right?
Yeah, and you can see, like, when you play the game, you can see exactly what the other character's doing, because it's still split screen even when you're playing online. So you can still see what the other character's doing. It's like, oh, that looks kind of cool.
That's cool.
So it's a cool way that they do that. Definitely, we should definitely play it. It Takes Two is so good. Did you play A Way Out?
No. I will download It Takes Two, because I did look. It is on Game Pass, but it's it's on EA Play. But since I just got Ultimate, well, I don't know if it's. I don't know what it's.
That's right. It's only with Ultimate. That's right. Yeah.
But I just got. Oh no, I didn't. No,
I didn't.
I thought you upgraded them.
I tried. Remember, and the Woo codes didn't work. Yes. And then I got a new set of codes, and and they still didn't work. So I'm still waiting to try and get that fixed. But I did. I didn't even think about that. I did. Look, it did say like activate EA Play, and it was going to let me download it. So I guess maybe it's with regular Game Pass as well for PC.
Maybe, and also is it either way? You could probably do the Friends Pass thing either way too. Maybe that's on the regular, and the Ultimates to I don't know. But yeah, definitely download it for sure.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Okay. Yeah. So EA Play is included with Xbox Game Pass for PC. Okay. So gotcha. Yeah, I can download it anyway. But yeah, cool.
So I'm hoping to play some more of that tomorrow, and then get a couple more hours into that. And then I also finished up Avowed this past week, so wrap that up. Final thoughts on that is I really like it. I was a little bit down on it around just before the middle area, I guess. Like the second act or area, but it picks up. Your decisions definitely matter. Some more than others. Some they just make cool references towards the end, where characters will just say stuff that you did, and some stuff I totally fucking forgot about and didn't think that decision would have any meaning. And then it's like, well, you did this or whatever. I was like, holy shit! Oh yeah, I forgot about it. I forgot I did that. I was a bit of a dick there. But yeah, I really like it. I think I think they can solve some of the issues I have with it easily with a sequel if they do end up doing a sequel down the line. But overall, I definitely think it's worth playing if anyone has time. And I put a good 40-something hours into it, and I didn't do everything, but I did do a lot of the side stuff that I came across. So take that as you will. If time is an issue, or if you want it to be longer, it could be either way. But I had a lot of fun with it. It was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That was it, besides other stuff we'll talk about.
Well, I think that's all we got left to talk about, right? So.
Well, besides the Hunter of Monsters.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So all three of us are playing that at this point, right? Because Geoff, you started it up.
Yep. Yeah. I think I'm like 12 hours in or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, it took me a while. I did finish up the low rank story. Jason, it was the night that we played together. So that was what, Thursday night?
A couple nights ago.
Yeah, a couple nights ago. So finished that up. Started playing the next story mission, and it was immediate. Like it was weird because you immediately play. You immediately fight against like one of the very first monsters you fight in World, and he's a bastard. Like there's like 3 of them at a time, and I can't remember what they're called, but
Kutku.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
So after you finish the low rank, like that's the first thing. Like if you continue the high rank story, that's the first thing you fight. Yeah. And there's like 3 or 4 of them at once, and you have to try and chase some of them away. And then they want you to capture them, and they don't supply you with a trap, as far as I could see.
They do.
So they do.
Yeah, they'll give you a temporary one or an easy one further into the fight. You know how they'll replace guild items or whatever on your secret. So yeah.
So your sacred has it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
How do you access the secret stuff?
Just left on the D-pad when you're on top of it.
Oh my god, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's easy. It's super easy.
Huh.
But yeah, get in the habit of that because they give you easy potions as well. So it's like potions on top of what you already use, and you'll use those first, so you don't waste your potions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
I will say that when did they start doing making it so that you didn't have to replace whetstones?
Oh, World.
I want to say World. Yeah, because World. I don't think you had to.
Okay. I can't remember. But yeah, I will say that I'm still using the gun lance. I still love that thing. It's so much fun. So I haven't really messed around with anything else yet, but yeah, it feels really good. I have a lot of friends that have picked it up, and this is their first adventure into Monster Hunter. Like one of the dudes that I work with has got it, and I was having a meeting with him the other day, and I was like, all right, well,
Monster Hunter meeting,
yeah, absolutely. It's like, listen. I tell my folks that our one-on-ones are their meetings. We can talk about whatever the hell they want to. So sometimes they bring up video games, and I'm like, fuck, I'm here for it. Let's go. And like I was like, all right, well, how's Monster Hunter going? And he's like, well, I'm messing around with a few of the weapons, trying to get used to it. And he's like, I'm using the switch axe. I'm like, oh, that's good. And then I'm trying to remember. I think he said he was also using the longsword and the dual blades, and those are the things that he's messing around with. And then my buddy Corey is messing with the dual blades a lot too. So, and he's new to Monster Hunter.
That's a good beginner friendly weapon, I think.
Yeah, and you're super agile with it, so you don't feel like you're restricted. Like that's the one thing about like the lance and the gun lance. It's like you don't move. Like moving is hard. you got to put shit away, or you have to use kind of the jump dash, the hops to get there. But man, it's super fun though.
I'm still struggling with the combat a little bit. Like I'm not finding the game hard, but I can't get a good flow of combat yet with the longsword. I'm trying to use these counters and stuff and to keep it in the red gauge, but then it's like I find it so hard to read what the monster's doing and when they're gonna do it. Outside of like their big attacks, I'm like, oh my god, I don't know when to use these.
That's just gonna come with experience, and that's kind of the drawback of the longsword is you've got to be very aware of what your opponent is capable of.
Yeah, because you want to keep that gauge in the red as long as you possibly can. And it's like when I did it against one of the monsters that I kind of was pretty familiar with, I was like, oh my god, this feels so much better because I can do so much more with it. But then I go to fight the next monster I don't know, and of course I'm like not getting fucked, but I'm just doing the triangle, then they do the special combo to raise it up a gauge, triangle, and then just rinse and repeat. So I was kind of getting not frustrated, but I was kind of like, I can't get this loop. I don't know what. I'm like, oh, this got to keep at it, I guess, because like Chris said too, the maneuverability isn't that great with the longsword either.
Yeah.
So I got to get used to it, and I'm just used to, especially coming off Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is like fucking lightning quick. It feels so different.
It's a little different than that, yeah.
It is. I bit the bullet, and I did put it to performance mode. Because I was like, maybe this is going to help. Maybe it's a frame rate thing why I'm not like getting these counter things. It does definitely feel better. It does take a hit visually, but I'm like, whatever. It's not. If it was like a absolutely gorgeous game in 30, and I'd be like, I'm losing a lot by putting it to performance. But I'm like, it really doesn't. It's fine. It looks how it looks, and it's good. It's whatever. So. Kind of happy I did that because it does help out a little bit, especially with like movement and stuff like that.
Now that you mentioned that, I did after we did the last week's show.
Yeah.
I went through that video that Jason had put, turned off HDR, made all the adjustments to the brightness and everything, and then I switched it to quality mode with the 40 frames.
Oh yeah, the 40,
which it does. It does say that it requires 120 hertz. But I honestly haven't noticed that much of a change to the
color.
No, to the frame rate. So I'm happy about that. Like it's like honestly the difference between 30 and 40 is the same, essentially the same frame per second difference as, well, not frame per second, but it's the same quality difference as from 40 to 60. So it's almost like a halfway point between 30 and 60. It's weird the way it all works out, but
I hear that a lot, that like 40 frames per second is like a really like almost
sweet
god
spot.
tier thing to shoot for, I guess.
It's a good compromise, especially for a game like this. And the visual quality improved dramatically.
Yeah,
like it looks better. It's so it's not doesn't look washed out anymore. Like everybody has like nice coloring, and I can't see colors, but I can't see the difference between the colors, but I could see the colors, right? But it definitely looks a lot better. And I haven't, as I said, I haven't really skipped a beat on the play, so it's been like the gameplay has still felt solid even with the 40 frames over the 60.
My next TV I'm gonna make sure has 120 hertz, especially if consoles, because like not a lot of games do the 40 frames per second thing, but more and more are doing them now. I think a lot of Sony first party stuff does it, and like this does it, and there was, I think Indiana Jones does it as well. No, Indiana Jones is 60 on everything. Never mind, that's 60 even on Series S. So there's some game that also was recently had the 40 that I was like, oh, that's weird. They usually don't do that. But yeah, I think it's time to almost kind of invest in a new TV anyway. I'm having an issue with my current one.
The one that I have, it's a few years old now, but it's a TCL 65 inch. And it only has one 4K 120 hertz input though. So I actually have a 4K switch that I run to it that my PC and my PS5 are both in. But the TV was only $1,000, and that was like 3-4 years ago.
Oh wow! So,
So it wasn't that bad. You can get them for relatively cheap now, and I've been really happy with TCL lately. I think I've got 3 of them in my house right now. So I feel like TCL is what Vizio used to be. Like they're not a high end brand, but they're like a high middle tier brand that's still very affordable.
They're super good budget TVs, I think.
Yeah, I have a Vizio right now. Maybe we should accidentally put my foot through it and be like, "Oh, Tanya, we need a new TV. Look what happened." Weird.
Well, my Vizio died. That's how I ended up with the TCL. My Vizio ended up having an issue.
Oh no!
And I put it in to get repaired. And it was taking too long to get repaired, so I went ahead and just bought a new TV. And then I replaced the one that I had upstairs in the living room because it had like this big ass like miscolored spot on it. So I was like, all right, I'll just get rid of that one. So once the Vizio got repaired, it went back upstairs, and then the TCL
just in
is down
case
here
something
now.
happened there. Did something happen with my?
You blipped.
You blipped.
Okay now.
It looks like it's still recording. Okay, so
okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure before we whatever. Yeah. Awesome, cool. I was gonna ask. I did beat. I found that flame guy, whatever that flame octopus thing was. I was asking you about. How far off am I from the end?
There are 19 hunts in the low rank story.
Okay, I'm not sure what my number would be.
Right.
Because I have been dicking around.
I can look it up for you.
I tried to because the way I'm looking, because not too many people I know have the game, and people like you guys. Just our schedules are so off for what time we game. So I'm like, if I don't really get a chance to play too much multiplayer, I want to try to get some of these full sets at least. And I think I tried hunting one of the monsters that it's the white armor set that has like the big spiky thing on your head.
Yeah.
And I just needed one of the front fangs, I think, from it. And I think I did that hunt like 5 times in a row, and it would not fucking drop it. And I was like, Yeah, I'm like, I'm fucking going for that thing with like that specific part, but it's not dropping.
Don't farm parts right now, dude.
Yeah.
Don't farm parts right now, because you're literally going to be able to piecemeal things together and get through the game, and then once you get to high rank, then you start farming the parts.
Definitely.
Well, my thing is, I don't know if I'm going to continue on too much after I'm done the story in the high rank, because if I'm not playing online with people, there's not really a draw for me to do it unless I'm just want to do it. So I'm like, I might as well get the cool armor that I think looks cool now, so I can enjoy it instead of mixing and matching stuff like that I'm doing right now.
I mixed and matched the whole way, but like the last fight or second to last fight, has some really cool armor that you can get for the second. Yeah, well, by now you've probably been introduced to what it's the second to last fight is. Well, it's something you know about. Like you haven't. I don't think you've seen it yet.
Is it the cover monster?
I don't think so.
No?
Maybe
because the cover monster, you see it early, but you don't fight it. It's the one who turns that like dragon thing into whatever.
Arkveld.
Yeah.
Arkveld is that's the one.
Okay.
And his armor's really cool.
Yeah, I figured it would be.
I really like it.
The last thing I fought was like the ice version of the Duhagara or whatever, the hairy pig mole face guys.
Yeah, the Doshugama?
Doshugama, yeah, that's the last thing I fought.
The ice version of that? Oh, okay. You're further than
he was an ice version of that. Yeah.
It's a Guardian version, I think.
So you're in the ruins then. Okay. Are you in the ruins
looks
then?
Icy. Maybe.
Okay,
I
chapter
don't know
3
what
already?
the areas are. Yeah, I'm in chapter 3.
Okay, so yeah, you only have 5 fights left, it looks like.
Oh, okay. Okay, so then maybe I will get through to the high ranking sooner than I thought. So
yeah,
might be able to push through it tomorrow then.
Okay.
But I definitely want to play it with you guys. I just got to figure out a time when I can jump on with you guys.
Absolutely.
My family is doing a camping thing without me, bastards.
Oh, really?
No.
Nice.
so they're not going to be back until like the afternoon sometimes. So if I'm up,
cool.
Hit me up.
Nice.
Like tomorrow? Yeah, we can play tomorrow for sure.
And yeah, we can just walk through that shit. So it's kind of a pain in the ass doing the multiplayer stuff, the campaign stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not too worried about it.
Gotcha. So. Yeah, I've been just doing the flare thing now. Whenever I go to a hunt, the second I can flare, I flare.
Good.
I guess sometimes it's AI, sometimes it's not. I guess the only way to tell is, well, if their name isn't super obvious, but I guess at the end it shows like it gives everybody a title. Is that how you can tell? Yeah. So that's been kind of cool. Getting random people in there.
Yeah.
One time I didn't know they were real people, and you know how you can like end the hunt early once you kill it?
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there walking around like an asshole, being like, just looking at my armor and like picking up plants. And then I look up and I see there's like 3 check marks at the top, and the 3 people are like talking, like they're running around me basically. I'm like, oh my God, these are real people. So I'm like, okay, I'll exit.
Sorry.
I'm that asshole, let them wait the full 40 seconds or whatever.
Hey, look, you had shit to do too. It's all right.
Yeah. Oh, look, Firefly. I'm going to chase it.
I haven't gotten a chance to try out the video that you posted today, or was it early this morning, Jason?
Dude, that's a good tip too.
Yeah. No kidding. So for those that are not on our Discord and haven't seen it, like while you're running around, a list of items pops up on the left-hand side of your screen. And basically what that is everything that's nearby, that's in your range. Mm-hmm. And one of the things you can do is you can hold down right trigger and then move it around, and you can collect things by using your hook.
Left trigger, by the way. But
right, hold down left trigger. Sorry. But apparently you can also hold down left trigger and then use the D-pad to navigate the list of items.
Yeah.
And if you select one, it will automatically use the hook to go get it. And it's like, that's amazing. That's great.
Stuff like that is like they're godsends. Like they're so helpful.
Yep.
And the game doesn't, like, even navigating the map. Do you know how long it took me to realize you can just jump between the layers of the map by using the D-pad as well? Like up and down. Yeah. I was like, how the fuck? Because that boss I asked you guys about, I was like, how the fuck would you ever know where to find this thing? And then I finally was like, I need to look at this map because that's what I was doing originally the day before when I spent like an hour wandering around and I was totally not in the right area. I'm like, maybe, okay, I guess it's not in the foundry area and I've got to go whatever. And then I finally was like, oh, wait a second. On the left-hand side, it looks like it's layered. So I was kicked down and I was like, oh my God, that's how you can go down lower levels of the map. And then I eventually saw the monster down there and it's like got the question mark on it. And I was like, that's obviously
that's gotta be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, fuck, that would have been handy. Like
a
couple hours ago.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Like, they're trying to be so much more accessible, but they keep stuff from you,
It's kind of a dual-edged sword because it's like, do you really have a tutorial in the story that teaches you all that's like some people would be like, this is way too long because there's a lot. Like, and there's so much stuff I have not used. Like I have not set up a single camp. Capturing a monster, I haven't done that yet. I guess you don't do it till I guess you get to the high rank after the story.
Right.
But there's so many items I've never used. I don't know what they do. And so I just figured out the other day how to, I was wondering why I wasn't able to use a certain item. It's like one of the hot drinks so I wouldn't freeze in like the area.
Yeah.
I'm picking up, where the fuck are these? And I didn't realize they were in my item pouch and you have to transfer that from your pouch to your carry pouch, I guess. And then that makes it, and then they go, okay, that makes sense. This is what I'm carrying on my person. This is whatever. So stuff like that is, but I mean, it's a learning experience. It's not, it's deep. And I'm sure once you get the hang of it and all that stuff, it becomes second nature. It's just like any game that has a bunch of mechanics and stuff like that. So
it took me like 2 to 3 games to get used to the radial wheel. Because I was so used to just like holding L1 and like flipping back and forth between stuff like and running at the same time, so I could find, a potion and drink it, use the claw grip. But now it's just like I use the radial menu, but it took forever for me to break that habit.
I still haven't gotten used to that. Yeah, I still use the list at the bottom at this point.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing a shit ton of this game. Holy shit.
Yes, you have.
I don't want to say like close to 60 hours now. I've beaten all the high rank stuff, storyline wise. So they do have like voiced and, cutscenes and stuff after the main campaign. But that's when they really started introducing the stuff that I was missing. I think in the first one, like, melding decorations and shit. Capturing monsters and also, in previous games, you could set up like farms where your cats or like other NPCs would like, make stuff for you. Yeah. So you don't have to go out and find honey, for example. But now they've introduced that. But it was weird that you had to wait until high rank for that.
Until then. Yeah, because I was wondering why they didn't. Because I remember doing that in Rise. You can have them like even like level up your weapons. I think too. One of the guys did that. Like it would be like on a timer kind of. You tell the guy to do it, then you just come back and it'd be like, hey, it's done, or something like that. There's some area where all your cats were doing shit.
Yeah,
you can send them off on a boat.
Yep, you send them off on a boat. You can have them do training and stuff.
Training.
I'm missing that stuff still.
Yeah.
You only get the one palico. You don't recruit any others, so you just have the one friend the entire time, which is fine because. Also, once you hit high rank, you start unlocking more abilities for your cat. Like I've got one where he does like an aerial attack, and he'll actually hop into this like.
The balloon
ship. Yeah, it's a balloon, but it's a fucking boat. And it's so hilarious. It's so good.
I saw that thing floating around the other day. I'm like, what is that?
I'm like, that's my dude.
That's your little dude. And he's just kicking ass from up there. It's great.
But those missions are essential because they you get additional healing abilities. You get traps and shit. You also get a revive ability. It's pretty great. It's clutch. But yeah, I'm kind of in the end game now, which is like hunting tempered monsters. Is that I think that's the term. Which are like more powerful versions of regular ones, and you get. So, go ahead.
No, sorry. Finish what you're saying first.
Oh, you get like shards and stuff that you can use to make this type of weapon called the Ardian, not artisan, it's Ardian. So you make those, based with parts that you get from these tempered monsters, and those are kind of like the end game weapons. So go ahead
with the end game stuff or whatever. So like, I know I've never done the only game I ever got to the point where you're kind of fighting higher levels of the monsters was Wild Arms or Wild Hearts.
Wild Hearts.
So if I'm like, say I like that armor set that I was trying to get, if you start killing the monster that's a higher version of that, does the visual of the armor change as well? Is it the stats that change?
It's the stats. Yeah, okay. They look pretty much the same. You're going to find in this game that there's multiple versions of the same kind of armor. I mean, that's been in previous games too, but anyway. So there's like an alpha and a beta version. Like the alpha version has like a bunch of innate skills, but not as many slots for decorations. And the beta is just like they have some of the innate abilities, but they focus more on just like letting you customize the armor. It's a really cool system. Very, very DIY. That's nice. Where all the builds and shit come in. But
gotcha.
Yeah, I like that they essentially have two different types of the same armor that you can choose from while you're building it, and everything costs the same, all the stats are the same, it's just different visually, and
I love that
choose essentially, and you can mix and match the parts. And
it's you can actually use the feminine armor as well, so it's you can really mix and match. That's the first time for that, which is great.
Yeah, I'm
still like I'm missing shit. Like I feel like everything is very, very easy. It's a big change from like World, where they had very walls, essentially like skill checks. You get to Anjanath for the first time, it's like, oh shit, this guy kicked my ass. I need to make specific armor for this guy, and I haven't had to do that yet. Like I know it's a big talking point, but like, yeah, they made it very easy, and that it's a double-edged sword. You want people to come in and make this accessible, and but
you got to cater to the hardcores though too.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if they'll do that with like the first expansion or something, or do that's
kind of been the tradition. Is that's the G rank stuff. That's the post HR and post the high rank stuff. I almost want like a Forza situation, where there's like there's a Forza Horizon, which is like super accessible and fun and kind of like power trippy, and then also that hardcore Forza
motorsport, like the motors, like proper,
exactly. And that'll cater to a different crowd, and it seems like there's enough people buying this fucking game, that I think it's sustainable. I just think that would be a cool effect. Like, because I liked Rise, right? But Rise is very different from World, and I got a different type of experience out of that, but I still really enjoyed it. So
they should probably do that, or even like based on the lobbies that you join or something, or like have like a hardcore section or something. Like I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure they'll do something, because this game sold, I think it's like 8 million or something like that.
Yeah, damn.
And like
easily the best Monster Hunter sales they've ever seen.
That's their best game that they
is it?
Selling game. Yeah, fastest selling game they've ever had.
Yeah.
So they definitely have the player base there, and I think they can keep the people like me, and also cater to the hardcore that want all that stuff, getting getting their hands and feet dirty, and getting that shit. Because I don't see why not have split up the lobbies? Like, you want to go to a hardcore lobby, or you want to put these things on or whatever. You'd probably have to split up the lobby, because it'd be like, if there's a lot of more in-depth stuff you have to do between hunts and stuff like that, you probably don't want to do all that crazy stuff with the lower people, like the plebes like me, because it'll probably just take up too much time, and people will be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. They should probably, maybe they probably are thinking about that. They get paid a lot of money. They should be that kind of stuff.
I think their focus is just on accessibility.
Think so?
I think so, and they're making a lot of good choices. They're making all the weapons super powerful, and they're not nerfing anything. They're just bringing everybody else up to something. They've had a couple nerfs, I guess, but that was like very warranted, like stuff with the bow,
like glitchy stuff.
Okay. Kind of, yeah.
Oh, did they nerf the bow?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you can't have as many tracers stuck into them. Okay. I think you can only do one now. I think. Bow's my secondary weapon. I should know this.
But it's my secondary, and I haven't pulled it out once.
I've only pulled it out once, so.
Yeah, I haven't needed to because I'm kind of spec'd for like stamina. I'm spec'd away from stamina because that's what the bow uses. But I'm heavy into like counterattacks and shit like that. So I'm using the lance, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's the most powerful the lance has ever been. It's great. It's very, very satisfying for me to just sit there right up in the monster's face.
Right up in that ass.
Yep, right up in that ass, and just like lance them right in the pooper. But it's such a like passive aggressive play style as well because you're almost constantly guarding or getting a perfect guard, and then there's a counterattack with that, and it feels so good to get that out. It's that's my main weapon. I tried to move away from it, like going to the switch axe. I don't know. I couldn't give up the lance. I've got a lance romance happening, and there's no cure for it.
Listen, guard poking is really fun.
Yes.
I don't know why, but it is.
Dink. But yeah, you get a perfect guard, and you can do like this jumping like 45-degree angle poke. It's so good.
I have not figured out the perfect guard yet. I have to work that out because the gun lance can do it too, and I have to because if I remember correctly, it's like you have to do for the gun lance. It looked like you had to do essentially a reload at the exact time that's
guard pointing. Yeah. So like,
is that different?
It's different. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect guard is just like timing it, like a parry or something like that.
Okay.
Guard point is like, just as you said, there's a specific frame in the animation where your character will light up. You're white. I don't know if you've seen that. But that's essentially the guard point. That means that if they attacked during that animation or that part in the animation, you'll block it and then continue with the attack. So that was a big thing in like World, but they didn't highlight you when you were doing the guard
when you're
point.
Supposed to time it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to do some digging on that and try and figure that out because I feel like that's especially going to be important moving into high rank. So
yeah,
I haven't needed it. I didn't really need it for low rank. Low rank, I didn't have much of a problem except for that one dude that Jason that you helped me fight. There was dude. I'm gonna, spoilers aside, I'm gonna give you a heads up. Which one was it? Was it Zuwu?
That sounds right.
I can't remember. So one of the fights that you're gonna that's coming up for you, Geoff. It's this large, very very large 4-legged dragon. He has a move with ice attacks. He is a pushover. Outside of one move where he curls up into like this ice shelter and then it explodes and kills you in one hit.
Oh, fun.
So yeah, he got me with that 3 times because I didn't know I couldn't get away from it fast enough. And even times when I had run away the opposite direction, like full speed, he was still able to get me. So just find something to hide behind, apparently. And I was looking around and I didn't really see anything.
If you don't see anything, you use your clutch claw to look up.
Oh, is there a thing up that you can grab onto?
Yeah, you can pull down like a boulder and then hide behind that and then completely negate it.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Very cool.
That's good to know. But yeah, that's really the only mission I had any issues with. So like even the last boss, I went in and soloed him without much problem. So yeah, it's not that bad.
I will take note.
Yes, please. Because
stuff.
Chris was getting super frustrated with that.
I was like, "Fuck this guy!"
Yep.
Oh yeah, I see. I know what Chris is like when he's getting frustrated in a game. It's not pretty.
Good point.
I've toned it down quite a bit, but it's still there. It's still there. It's still there.
I just don't get throws.
Fuck your throws.
That will always be my favorite.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool.
I'm trying to think of what else. Like I'm missing some stuff. The game still feels great. Probably the most polished it's been combat wise. So there's so many, good quality of life changes, improvements that I'm very positive on the game overall. But there's just a few things that are sticking out and just like really resting in my craw. Like I'm
like what?
I mean, I talked about it before, but performance is also another one that's a big thing that I wish I could deal with. I'm missing some of the humor, I think, and charm. Like the cats don't cook for you anymore; you cook for yourself. Like that was some of the best shit in world, right? Like the big.
Apparently, they're adding that or adding something like that in. They
might, and I hope so. Like they're going to add like a gathering hub finally in the first update, which is something that was missing as well. So just little things, but
they can't arm wrestle anymore.
Hey, fucking A! You can't arm wrestle anymore. That's stupid. I can prance though, and I don't have to pay for it. That's nice.
That's good. That's always a good thing.
But yeah, they're not big things. They're not huge issues, but
they're just little things that you'd miss from like a
I
get it. Like it's
like I'm missing it because I'm a big fan of Monster Hunter. Like, and it hits a little bit more personally, I think, than it should. But I don't know. Love the game. Love the game. I'm having so much fun with it.
It's really good. It's really good. This is definitely the World was my peak before this, and this is definitely topping World for me.
Nice.
Like I'm really enjoying it.
That's super good to hear.
Yeah. Good stuff. Anything else?
Don't think so.
No.
All right.
That's all I play.
We got
I tried to play other stuff, but it didn't happen.
We got some news.
That's when you know you really like a game, regardless of nitpicks and little things you have with it. That's a good sign. That's you're still playing the shit of it. We got a couple news items. Nothing huge. This is probably going to be pretty short. First one is people were wondering if Activision released the Tony Hawk remake 1 and 2 a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loved it. It was very, very good. Then they closed down, I think, the studio that did it, or they dissolved them into some of their other
fun
things.
Because of course they did.
Yeah.
Great job on that game, guys. But
or they put them on Call of Duty or something like that, like they seem to like doing. But they announced that they're doing Tony Hawk 3 and 4.
3 and 4, yeah.
Which are the other two big ones. 3 is my personal favorite that I've played. I love 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
And that's coming out July 11th. Everyone was super excited, and then some news dropped when more details were released that Tony Hawk 4 isn't going to have its normal campaign mode, which was really what separated Tony Hawk 4 from 1, 2, and 3. It wasn't about the run-based gameplay where you have like 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes, I can't remember what it is, to go and do as many of the challenges you can do in that time, and basically you're just doing that run over and over and getting better and better. It was more open world. And then it kind of went after that, so it's not going to have that. They're basically using all the content from Tony Hawk 4, but they're doing it in the same style as 1, 2, and 3, so it is going to be the run based stuff,
the 2 minute
like the 2 minute kind of stuff. So there's people that are really pissed off about that.
It seems like a bad.
It's like, why would you do that? It's like if you had something
I have no idea. Yeah.
And like people enjoyed the campaign, right?
I guess I never really played 4. I did play the one after that, Underground, which I really liked. Underground, and Underground took that concept and kind of ran with it. and it was really good. So I think it totally makes it a different game, in my opinion, if that's what 4 was like.
Yeah.
Why not have both?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll go into the
why even call it Tony Hawk 4 if you're taking out something that big of that part of it?
Yeah, you kind of figured this be like, hey, we're doing 3, but we're including 4's maps. Like that would probably get way less criticism. Because then people would still think, well, maybe they're still going to do 4, or they're going to do Underground, because Underground seems to be the one that people really, really, really want. So maybe they're just like, well, we'll just make it go all in for that. Who fucking knows? Because people didn't expect this to happen. So who knows? And Iron Galaxy is actually doing it. I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's after some layoffs over there too, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah. I was wondering if they were doing anything after Rumbleverse, because that unfortunately died.
Yeah, they pulled the plug on that prematurely, as far as I'm concerned. Like that game was good.
Yeah, I think that was really fast, man. That was
that's a big shame. Then they had layoffs, and I thought the studio might have been closing, because I hadn't heard about them working on anything.
I had my hopes up, because I was like, okay, well, Rumbleverse is done. We haven't heard anything from Iron Galaxy in a while now. I would have bet, I would have been like, dude, they're fucking doing KI 2. That's what I thought they were going to be doing. I was like, they're quiet. Microsoft is doing some stuff with KI, like they fucking updated it last year. The game's how old? And so I was like, they're doing KI 2. That's got to be what they're working on. Then this came out, and I was like, yay, Tony Hawk. They're like, Iron Galaxy. Like, that means there's no KI 2 by them right now.
Maybe.
At least not anywhere in development. Probably. So
they have worked on multiple projects at the same time before. So
well, the layoff part was the part that was kind of like, if they're laying off people, then maybe, who knows. Fingers are still crossed, because I still think they would be the studio to do it if Xbox wants to do another one. So
they've got some smart dudes over there for sure.
Yep. So well, that's coming out in July. So if you're into the Tony Hawk, do that. Another bit of, it's not really news, more of a talking point, I guess. Neil Druckmann was doing a interview, and they asked him straight up, like, "Hey, what's coming up next for The Last of Us?" And he basically said, "Don't count on A Last of Us 3." So what do you guys' take on that? Bullshit? Not bullshit? Do you think he's like, fuck video games now? I'm in the movie or the television business. I'm moving on.
Well, I mean, without spoilers, did they kind of wrap things up with 2?
Yeah, kind of. Well, yeah, they did. They really did, kind of. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that. Like, I like when, like, they're a really good studio. If they want to go and explore something new, I wouldn't mind seeing another new IP from them. I
wonder how Sony thinks, though. Do you think they would give it to another studio, or do you think he's like, Druckmann probably has that like clout now within Sony that if he tells them we don't want another team working on a Last of Us, even if it's like a spinoff, it doesn't even have to be like a continuation. They could call it like The Last of Us fucking, I don't know, Mexico, and it's like what happened there or something. I don't know, just some kind of spinoff that they could maybe be like, okay, we're going to honor that and not. But it's something tells me, like, especially with season 2 right around the corner, like Last of Us is going to be really hot again. Not that they can develop a game in like 6 months, but remaster 2 again. Why not?
Did they let any team do something new with Uncharted?
They had the spinoffs, right?
The Golden whatever was well, that was Ready at Dawn, I think, right?
So the Vita game was Bend.
Oh, Bend, sorry, not Ready. Ready at Dawn was the God of War games.
And then
Lost Legacy, was that Naughty Dog proper?
Lost Legacy was Naughty Dog proper. And then
no, that they only had the one spinoff.
Yeah, so just Golden Abyss, and then there's a Fight for Fortune. I don't know what that is. Is that a? Oh, it's a card game. I've never even heard of that. Apparently, there's an Uncharted card game for Vita.
What?
I've never heard of that.
Released? No way.
Yeah, was it released?
I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, apparently that is a thing. But yeah, they had other studios that worked on the collections, Like the Nathan Drake collection was Blue Point. And then the Legacy of Thieves collection, which apparently is still in the works, maybe, is by Iron Galaxy. Oh, no, it says 2022. I don't know if that ever came out then. Did that come out? Okay.
Yeah.
So that was Iron Galaxy and Naughty Dog.
That was 4 and Lost Legacy together, I think.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like I'm not sure they do anything else with Last of Us at that point.
I'm in the boat too that I don't want them to do more. I think 2 ended fine. Intergalactic looks good. And I feel like they might just want to. I guess it'll probably depend on how Intergalactic does, to be honest with you. Yeah. Like if Intergalactic doesn't do that well or doesn't hit like similar numbers,
completely I could totally brain farted and forgot all about that. So I feel better now. Yeah, I think that's the focus for them at this point.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm just wondering if Sony does kind of get like, because I mean, let's be honest, Sony has not had a great year, like calendar year. Like they've had to cancel so much stuff. It turns out like they canceled a Twisted Metal game as well. That was in the works. Really? Yeah, it was going to be like a battle royale, but both like in vehicle and on foot.
Oh damn, that would have been fun.
So they canceled that, and so like they need some of their IP. But the thing is, like they can't go back to The Last of Us. Well, I don't think that soon.
Right.
But I can see them doing it depending on how the show does and how Intergalactic does. But we'll see. I don't even know, like.
I'm sure Sony would just love another Last of Us for sure.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like Naughty Dog might be ready to move on.
And what's The Last of Us without Naughty Dog, right?
Yeah. But they've earned like the right, I think, to like choose their next project and not be beholden to Sony for forever.
Yeah,
and keep churning out remasters. So.
Yeah, it would be like an I win button for them to do. They'd have to be like, okay, now we need to do this because we need to make some money or something like that. And
yeah,
it wouldn't look good, I guess, if Naughty Dog didn't want it. It could be like the whole thing with Bloodborne. If what Shuhei said is true, that not is true, but if his opinion of why he thinks not doing is true, that they're just honoring Miyazaki's like vision and be like he doesn't want another team to touch that. If they're not going to do it for Miyazaki, they're definitely not going to do it for Druckmann. They're not going to pull that on him. So
right.
Yeah. So I guess for the time being, don't get your hopes up for a Last of Us 3. I guess
I won't.
No,
for a remaster, but
maybe when Chris beats 2, there'll be time for 3.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's all the main talking points of this past week.
All right. Let's see. Anything else we want to touch on before we get out of here?
No, I want to go play Monster Hunter.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
So let's do that.
All right.
So thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please tell a few friends about us. Like, subscribe, and comment. All of those things help us. Check us out on our Discord. And if you want to help us out, you can go over to Patreon. You can find both of those links on our LINKTREE, which is at interactivedistractions.com. So until next time, my name is Chris.
I'm Jason.
I'm Geoff.
Play your games. We'll talk to you next time.